What's up, everyone? My name is Alan, founder and consultant at Fornout Marketing, and welcome to Braze for Technical Marketers. Today, we're going to go over the new feature, how to use personalized delay. This is a very exciting addition to the Braze Canvas delay steps. Let's get started. So this is where you can find the new personalized delay feature. It's under the original existing delay step, but if we go ahead and click into delay, we now have this toggle called personalized delay, which is very, very cool. So you can personalize delay for after a duration until a specific day, not for until a specific day of the week, just because I guess we don't actually need to personalize that feature. But after a duration, you click this toggle and the UI kind of changes or new fields get added, and you can use to choose which personalization type. So you can either choose to personalize based on context variables or custom attributes. And context variables, it says canvas entry properties are now part of context variables. So that's just one thing to keep in mind. It looks like Braze is no longer calling it canvas entry properties, but context variables. We'll clarify that in just a bit. So we can personalize this delay by a certain amount that is dynamic based on the canvas entry property or context variable that you're using, and whatever number you have. It says users will be delayed for the selected duration. The selected property is not a valid number, the user will exit the canvas. So this option is going to look for a fixed number. We will choose to delay it by, X number of seconds, minutes, hours. And then if you do go to days, you have the option of choosing a specific time of the day. So it says when the unit is days or weeks, you can overwrite the time of day, which users will advance. So if you just want to delay by X number of days, then it gives you the option for time. If the time matters for you, then we recommend passing in the context variable with the hours considered. So maybe in units of hours or maybe even minutes. So that's a recommendation since full days are going to be kind of fixed days. You can also do weeks as well, and then calendar days. And calendar days, which I think are very similar to days, but it counts every full calendar day as a day instead of just every day being 24 hours strictly. And then let's take a look at the other option. So until a specific day, this is very cool too. So if we choose until a specific day and we have the personalized delay toggle turned on, once again, we can reference our context variables or custom attributes. And we also have the option of sending to the user at their local time versus the company time. And then this is the cool part. So we can now, there's an offset feature. We can offset by plus X number of days or minus X number of days. So for example, this is perfect for a reminder use case where if we want to remind the user one day before something is happening, and that event date is passed in as a context variable, we can now set a delay until one day before the event date at a specific time, let's say, and then we can send that reminder easily. Previously, we had to use some liquid calculations, and I did make a video about how to do that. And that method worked fine. It was just a little bit more complex setup. So now with this personalized delay, it makes it much easier. Let's take a look at the Braze documentation just for a little bit. So we do have some documentation on the context step, which going back to the dashboard real quick, there is now a new step called the context step, which is very much related to what we just talked about. That context step can be defined in the dashboard, or it can just use the canvas entry properties, or formerly known as canvas entry properties, and just be referenced here. For this video, we won't go too deep into context variables or context steps, but the most important thing I want to note is that context variables are now replacing canvas entry properties. So anytime you can still pass in metadata with your canvas trigger, and that can just be referred in the canvas by calling context variables. If you're still using canvas entry properties in your message steps, that should still work. We've tested this and we've seen this before, and also we would not expect Braze to all of a sudden stop working because now canvas entry properties are called context variables. But if I go ahead and just using a webhook just for simplicity, but if I go ahead and try to add the personalization, I no longer see canvas entry properties, but I see context variables, and it even says canvas entry properties are now part of context variables. So that kind of gives you a little bit more context on how they replaced the variable names. No pun intended. And the delay documentation now has a new section for personalized delays. This part is once again very much related to the context variables. So definitely check out this part of the documentation. But of course, what fun is a Braze video without actually setting up any messages? So let's go ahead and try setting up and using our personalized delay. So what we're going to do is we're going to try 2 different setups here. And we made some new changes to our playground to make this work. So we are going to ask the user to pick a date, and think of this as once again like an event date. So there will be a date that they'll pick, and then we've also added this field reminder how many days before the date. So what I want to do is today is March 13th, 9 a.m. Pacific time. So we're going to send a 1-day reminder no matter what, based on this pick a date. So whatever date the user choose or I choose, we're going to send a 1-day reminder. But I also want to send another reminder in addition to that, a reminder that goes before this 1-day reminder. So today's the 13th. I'm going to choose the date to happen on March 16th. So they will get, or I will get a reminder on March 15th, UTC time, but at midnight. And then I want to send a reminder 2 days before. So I will enter 2. And then the canvas will be triggered off of this button submit. So let's actually see if my user is still receiving this data properly. And it looks like I am receiving it properly. So I am getting selected date March 16th. The only issue is I'm getting reminder days as a string, not a number. So that might cause an issue. We will move forward for now because unfortunately that might be a limitation of our website builder. But please note that if your after our X delay number is coming as a string, most likely this will not work, at least according to the instructions I read on the dashboard. Okay, so back in the canvas I go. We are going to trigger this canvas off of a action base called date picked. That custom event that I just triggered by submitting that button, that form, is called date picked. And then I will open this up to, all users so you can actually get a chance to try it yourself from our website. Although if your email is not logged in our profile, you will not get an email from us. And I do want to re-enter just for continuous testing purposes. And then what I'm going to do is we are going to first connect this delay, and we're going to personalize and use our after duration personalized delay. So context variables. And the property that I'll be using is, we'll have to go back to the developer console, but the property is going to be reminder days. So I want to look for property. It would be great if we could choose the properties as a drop-down option. I know that's possible for advanced event properties, but that's okay. Make sure you are copy and pasting any hard-coded data key names. And there's going to be days. We don't mind the specific time, so I will go ahead and uncheck that. And actually, as I say this, this does not work because this is after a duration. So if I ask the user for a reminder before the date, but I'm trying to set up this canvas as an after duration, that's actually not going to work. At least it's not going to work in the way I anticipated. What this is going to do is this is going to set this delay step for 2 days, but at least that delay duration is something that I chose or the user chose. So it is a dynamic delay. It's going to be a delay of 2 days from the time user enters this delay step. So I'm actually glad I clarified that confusion as I was setting this up, that this is after duration, so it's kind of a moving forward delay. In that case, I think I'm going to switch up our use case real quick and then just make it hours. So it should be after a certain number of hours I submitted the form and entered this delay step, I should get the next message. And just to make sure everything makes sense, I'll call this reminder hours as well. And I'll also change our website so that it now logs hours. Okay, so now this makes a lot more sense. Reminder, how many hours after form submit? So now, after the user receives this dynamic delay step, they might maybe move on to, our first reminder message. So I'll keep this one very simple. It'll just say reminder This is your reminder after X hours after form submit. And actually, I can even make that X hours personalized. So I can look for context variables, and then once again, the property name we've changed, right? So it's now called reminder hours. And I just want to be 100% sure, so I'm going to grab it from here, reminder hours. So let's go back there. Personalization, context variables, reminder hours. We'll insert that there. And then I'm going to actually use the exact same thing for, well, I'll keep it simpler. This is your reminder, your first reminder. Okay, so there's my email. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a second delay, but this time I want to use the until a specific day personalized delay. And of course, I'm choosing numbers intentionally so that it works in order like this. But also, please be careful and be cautious that depending on the numbers that you choose, that this delay step might end up waiting a little too long, and I may not get the right message on time. And this message, I'll duplicate it for later. We're going to have the actual, tomorrow's your event date reminder. But let's keep moving forward for now. So context variables, this time we want to wait until the selected date. So until a specific day, which is going to be selected date from our custom event property or context variables. And we want to minus 1 day. So that's going to be exactly 1 day reminder based on our event date or our selected date. So then what's going to happen is, once again, from the top, the user enters, gets a reminder X hours after form submit, gets their first email, and then the canvas will enter me into another personalized delay where I wait until the selected date. And then this email might say something like, this is your 24-hour reminder. Your event is happening on, and then personalization. Once again, we can actually grab the exact date, which it was called selected date. Selected date, insert. Perfect. So now I'm going to go ahead and launch this canvas. I'm going to try to trigger this canvas, and then stay tuned in the comments whether I end up receiving both emails or not. I have a feeling that because this part is going to give us trouble because we don't have a number being passed in, that I will not actually move forward from this delay step. And I think it even says I will exit the canvas. Yeah, if the selected property is not a valid number, the user will exit the canvas. And it's a bummer that we can't actually fully stay on the video to show it happen, just because it will take a few hours and maybe even days. But I will go ahead and test this out from our end and keep us posted in the comments, and stay tuned for the results. That's it for today. Thank you for watching, and see you next time.